Today we're comparing this guy, the Aputure Nova 300C, with its bigger brother, the Nova 600C, to see the difference in output and which one I would personally go with. Wow, my hair is all over the place. This is what happens when I'm doing different projects. The longer the day goes, my hair just starts going further and further out of whack. But this guy is the Aputure Nova P300C, and it is bright. Hold on, let me fix this. That's the wrong way. That's all right. Just so you know how bright this guy is, this is at 50%, and I am at ISO 400 with a 180 degree shutter angle and f7.1, and it is borderline blinding. This is at full intensity. I probably have to stop down a little bit. That's better. And it is insane. You can see if I have it as a backlight, it's not too bad. But when I turn around, it is bright. So I've got these rented out for a project that I'm shooting. This is kind of an interview setup, but something just a little more polished. Right now, I'm lit by the 300C at about 30% brightness. I haven't worked with these particular lights before, but I was curious to try them out because I had been looking at potentially buying them, but I wanted to see if they would actually be worth it and something that I could not only use for video, but also for photo. I was very impressed by the actual intensity that comes out of this. Like I said, this is at 25% brightness. If I cranked it to 100%, I would be completely blown out right now. And the 600C, which is in the big case behind me, is even brighter than that. So for this interview setup, I've already got the lighting design in my head. I'm shooting this tomorrow and I don't have these rented for very long, so I figured I'd make a quick comparison between them. Now for the interview setup, what I'm doing is I'm using the 600C as my key light. It's basically going to be off one side of the interview subject. So the light will be here, the interview subject will be looking like so, and the camera will be kind of where the camera is set up here. It's a 2-camera setup, and I'm going to have the 600C as my key light, and then I have a 6x6 or 8x8, whichever I go with on the actual shoot day. These are both comparable to the SkyPanel S60 compared to the 600C, and the S30 for the smaller 300C here. These are, however, a lot cheaper. In fact, at the time I looked at buying SkyPanels, and then Aputure came out with these. Now, one thing that I was surprised with here is the build quality. These are very well built. These are starting to be built like you would see on a professional set. And the benefit of these is because they are slightly cheaper than the ARRI versions, it allows producers to get more with the budget they have, and it allows me as a cinematographer to get more lights, to do more with less, essentially. And it seems in this day and age we're always trying to do more with less, so that's what we're doing here. Now, the other question that I'm sure you have, and I had as well, is why would you use one of these over, say, an Aputure 300D, 600D, 1200, so on and so forth? These are not your point source cob LED lights. These are a bigger light panel, so you're getting a larger source that's going to be softer and more widespread. Whereas a cob LED, unless you put a modifier on it, it's going to be very sourcey. It's going to be a much harder light, and you're going to get stronger shadows because of that. If this was an Aputure 600D bare bulb, or even with a little bit of diffusion, this shadow would be a lot harsher right now, and I would throw a modifier on it to make it a lot softer. You have a 300D that I'll use through one of the lantern softboxes as a bit of just a little fill, just to fill in some shadows on the camera side of the face. I'm going to light from the short side of the face as opposed to direct, so you get a more cinematic quality of light, basically the opposite of what I'm doing right now. So in contrast, it would be as if I had the camera here and the light would be here, and then I would just have a little fill on this side to bring up those shadows depending on how the overall light level looks. Lights like these also have a controller with them. You can either call it a controller, some lights, it's a ballast that you plug the power through as well, and it kind of distributes the power better. This one, it's more so a controller and you plug the power directly in, or you can power these off a battery, which is also great. V-mount, I think, is usually what they go with, or you can do like a V-mount to a gold mount. But it gives you a lot of versatility, and the controller is surprisingly intuitive and easy to use. Some controllers I've used, and it's like there's menus within menus within menus, and it's just a headache to work with. These, though, are super easy to figure out. It took me no time, and I just started playing around. They also have a bunch of effects, from cop car to party lights to paparazzi, and a whole bunch more that if you're looking for special effects, these are a great way to do them. Using this light direct, I am at 100% right now, and I stopped down to F8. And at the same settings, this is the 600, and it is blinding. Hold on. This is now at F13, and it is still super bright. I like to do this rather than mentioning the amount of lux or the lumen output that it has, because this is this for me is like, okay, this is exactly how bright it is. These are the camera settings, and this is what I'll be looking at. Also, I'm shooting on the EOS R on log C, and that's, yeah. I will say the one benefit that the 600 has over the 300 is that it is a lot wider spread. If you're looking for a larger source, that is going to help you out. The one drawback, though, is the case is significantly bigger, meaning it will be heavier and take up a lot more space. And if you don't have a super big car and you're going to a lot of different shoots, this might not be the best thing for you, because you can see behind me, that is the size of it, and the 300C is a lot smaller just behind that. It's like half the size, which makes sense when you think about it. But for me, I could throw the 300C case in my car, no problem. The 600C, it would fit, it would just be a much bigger issue, and I wouldn't be able to fit too much more beside it. However, it is a huge, great light, so it does have that benefit. Now, you can't throw these on like a regular C stand. You do need a 2K stand. I have a short one here. We call that a low boy. And then there's a regular 2K stand. I'm not a super technical reviewer when it comes to this kind of stuff. I just want to know practically, how is it? How's the color output? Is it good? Is it accurate? And I'm not seeing any weird shifting between them. You can change the green and magenta hues, as well as the color temp if you're in the CCT mode. And then on both of these, there are all the different modes like I listed. Now, for me, I love the output of this, and I actually love the spread that it gives. It gives a great quality of light. However, the form factor of the 300C, I think, just makes it a little more versatile for me, so I see myself adding that to my kit before I do any of the 300Cs. That, or I just get a bigger car. So that is my verdict on these particular lights. Honestly, so far, I love them, and I think it'll work great for this interview shoot. I'll also share some behind the scenes as well, so you guys can see the overall look and what we created. If you have any questions about these lights, other lights, filmmaking, etc., drop them down below. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And, as always, work hard, rest often.